share their Q&A, which will be then posed to the panel and help enrich in these discussions. So over
Thank
to
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Tongia. So before starting the panel discussion, I would like to quickly give a brief introduction about our panelists. So joining the panel, we have Shri R. Lakshmanan, Executive Director, REC, and CEO, REC PDCL. He is also a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and is holding the position of Executive Director in REC Limited, as I told, and looking after the stressed asset management, IT, admin, and estate coordination and monitoring of government program like DDU, GJY, Saubhagya, Uday, and PFA. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We have.
Thank you, Rahul. It's a pleasure to be on this forum. Thanks, Mr. Reggie and Reena, for inviting. A lot has been discussed. In fact, as a part of the inaugural session, I think Joint Secretary Vishal had given an overview as to what is there in the revamped distribution sector scheme. And Rahul has also elaborated and posed certain questions as to what is the scheme about. In terms of the scheme, this scheme is it's linked to results, as the name says. It's quite distinct from the earlier schemes that have been run by the Ministry of Power. Earlier schemes also had some linkage to results or performance, but then like this entire scheme is structured in such a way that the fund flow is completely linked to the performance of the DISCOMs. So the way it is thought of is the objective of the scheme is to bring down AT&C losses to 12 to 15% nationally over the next 4 to 5 years, and second, to reduce the ACS ARR gap, and third is like focusing on the reliability and quality of power supply. So to achieve these objectives, the states and DISCOMs are expected to come up with the action plan. So it's customizable based on each individual state and DISCOM, what is their need. They can come up with their own set of action plan, as well as to meet the action plan, what is the detailed works that needs to be taken up. So they can prepare their DPR also based on their need assessment. So that process is on. So most of the states are in the process of preparing their action plans. And in this, the action plan and the DPR would be approved by the state government at the cabinet level, so that they are on board in terms of what they are committing. And the fund flow under the scheme would be linked to the annual evaluations. So the fund flow would be annual in the scheme. And at the end of the first year, that is 21-22, the evaluation would be taken up. And there are certain set of preconditions that are mandatory for the DISCOMs to meet. That revolves around putting in place a governance mechanism and a fiscal and financial discipline on the DISCOMs, state governments, and even to some extent on the regulators. So this basically involves having the timely audited accounts, timely tariff and true-up petitions, no regulatory assets, and timely payment of subsidies and government department dues towards the electricity supplied, and liquidation of the old arrears of subsidies and government department dues. So these are mandatory. So this tries to put in place a framework wherein like there is a responsibility on the DISCOM, on the state government, and to a certain extent in terms of timely orders by the regulators. And once a DISCOM is able to meet all these requirements, then they are taken up for evaluation against the action plan that they have prepared and committed to. So in that, like they would have trajectories for loss reduction, trajectories for ACS ARR gap reduction, reliability parameters like SAIFI, SAIDI, what is the current baseline, and how do they intend to improve it over the next 4 years, 5 years. And also outcomes in terms of what is the smart metering progress, what is the infrastructure that they have taken up under the scheme, what is the progress. So all that is captured in the results evaluation, and a DISCOM is expected to score 60 marks against 100. If they are able to achieve that, then the annual fund release happens to the DISCOM. If not, though they might have taken up the scheme, taken up the projects, but then like fund flow under the scheme might not be possible. But however, like if in a subsequent year they are able to achieve the cumulative targets, then they will be able to get the release of year 1 and year 2 together. So there is an opportunity for the discoms to work on this, and then even claim their due grants even in a subsequent year. In case of smart metering, the funding pattern is like 15% or 22.5% if they are able to achieve timely installation of smart meters. For northeastern states, it's slightly higher. In the case of infrastructure, the funding is 60-40. And as far as the smart metering component is concerned, it envisages consumer smart metering, DT smart metering, and even the feeder smart metering. And this is conceived in a DB foot model. So there is a private-public partnership, and the bid document for procurement has been standardized, and it is already published. Some states are already in the process of taking it up, and they have published tenders. And in this bid document, we have tried to take care of the stakeholders, different stakeholders, concerns and expectations, especially in terms of, since private investment is expected on this component to a significant extent. So we have kept the bid document in terms of participation little wider, open. It's not restrictive. And second, there is a strong payment security mechanism that has been built into the bid document. And third, in terms of standardization, the meter specs have been standardized, and deviations are not encouraged, so that the rollout is quick. The industry has a clarity in terms of what to produce, and the testing and other procedural requirements have also been rationalized, kept to what is essential. So a lot of deliberations have gone into preparing this bid document, because this is a critical procurement which would ensure the success of the scheme. Of course, there are a lot of other challenges around how good this rollout can be in terms of the capacity of the industry for implementing projects of smart metering within this expected time frame, and the ability of the utilities to absorb this transition. So these are challenges on which all of us are working together with the utilities, with the industry. So that needs to be seen how we are evolving on this. And on the infrastructure side, again, the bid document is published. The final version should be out in a week's time. And we are having a separate procurement document for smart grids, DMS, OMS, and SCADA systems. And similarly, like another critical component of the scheme is the IT solutions for the discoms in terms of billing software or the ERP solutions. So we are again, separately working on a standardized procurement document for that, which should also be out shortly. So a lot of work is happening in terms of the initial rollout of the scheme. So with this, would like to stop here. So maybe as a part of the discussion or questions, we can take up further points. I think you're on mute, Rahul.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you for the very comprehensive overview. And I do want to come back to a few key points you talked about, including the word customizable, because I think that will be a very key aspect, maybe